Self-existent. Life in himself. The Father has life in himself. That's so awesome. The Father has life in himself. He is life. So he has granted the Son to have life in himself. John 5:26. Since God is self-existent, he can never be destroyed. He can never die. He can never cease to exist. He will always be there for me. He will always be there for you. God cannot lie and God cannot die. Remember I talked about Sunday? We talked about it here first. If God said Steve was wearing a white shirt, by the time we looked at it, it'd be white. Because God cannot lie. If God said I had an afro, when you looked up here, I looked like one of the Jackson 5. Because God cannot lie. Once he speaks it, it comes into existence. All right? He is self-sufficient. Within himself, God is able to act. From him and through him and to him are all things. Romans 11:36. Wow, that's powerful. From him and through him and to him are all things. Wow. Since God is self-sufficient, he does not need anything or anyone else to accomplish his will for my life. Now guess what? That's why if you're thinking that you need so-and-so and so-and-so, you need this for God to use you, no you don't. You know who you need? God. God. If God can use a rooster to convict a prophet, if he can use a mule, he can use anything he wants to. Remember we talking about the time I was on third shift and I was just ill, and we're starting listening to gospel music, and I just started fussing at Beverly. I was fussing, and DC was about a year and a half old, and I couldn't stop fussing. I was just ill from being on third shift. And DC walked over between me and his mama, and he grabbed her hand, and he grabbed mine, and said, "Let's pray."
Smart kid.
And he bowed his head, and we bowed our head. And he started praying. We went and prayed with him. God whooped me that night. But God showed his self-sufficiency through DC. So, self-sufficient. He's infinite, boundless. I mean, it amazed me. I looked on a film today, and I think you see me turn my head. He says, "Take your glasses off." Because after we was doing the free fall for 40 seconds. We free fall probably a mile. And then he says, "Take your glasses off." So I took my glasses off, put them around. He said, "Now look over your right shoulder." And we were floating. I looked over my right shoulder, and there was the sunset. He said, "You are seeing something that people on the ground can't even comprehend." He said, "They don't see it." He said, look at that beautiful sunset." Wow. You know, it's like being in the plane. But the difference was there wasn't a window I was looking out of. I was looking at it. It was so amazing to me. But again, where can I go to flee from your spirit? Now, I'm going to get this Bible so I can finish reading this, because I didn't, there was too much to write. It was taking up too much space. So, Psalm 139. If you got your Bibles, you can turn there if you want, but it's Psalm 139. Psalm 139, 7 through 12. It says, "Whither shall I go from thy spirit? Whither shall I flee from thy presence? If I ascend up into heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, behold, thou art there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there shall thy hand lead me, and thy right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, even the night shall be light about me. Yea, the darkness hideth not from thee, but the night shineth as the day. The darkness and the light are both alike to thee." I mean, you can't pull the wool over his eyes. You can't cover his eyes. He sees it. He can see in the light just as good as he can see in the day. And that's a good thing to think about when you're going through something. I can't see where to go, but he can. He's boundless. Since God is infinite, he has power and presence. His power and presence, no N-K-N-O-W, no N-O limit. There's no limits with God. Why? He can do as he pleases in my life. Remember he told me the story about DC and Daniel? We were fishing out there by the hospital. We were fishing in Washington. I can't think what you call it, right at Washington Park. Havens Gardens. We're fishing. The boys are little, and Daniel's taking DC's Rambo knife, and DC goes to grab the Rambo knife from Daniel, and it's pointed right toward his face, and he pulls it. I watched him, and it banged it right in his eye. And DC starts screaming. I go look, and there's a gash and blood's coming out of his eye. And so I just picked him on up, and I threw him in the car, and I said, let's go, Beverly, let's go. We get in the car, and we only had to go a block to get to the hospital. And I just pulled out of Havens Gardens. I was on the highway, and the Lord spoke to me just as clear as day, and he said, have you spoken to me about this yet? I went, whoa. And I pulled right over. Beverly said, what are you doing? His eye's bleeding. I said, the Lord just spoke to me. We're pulling over. And so she reaches in the back seat, she gets DC, and we pray for him. When we get to the hospital, as God is my witness, when we get to the hospital, the doctor, I said, Doc, he just got stabbed in the eye with a knife. And it was a play knife, but it was still, it went down with his eye and it's bleeding bad. And the doctor opened his eye, and he said, where? There was dried blood, but nothing but dried blood. Just dried blood. Showed me it had been there, but the gash was gone. There was no more bleeding. And again, God told me, said, have you talked to me? Excuse me. And I remember one time in church, one of the young ladies had asthma. And not here, this was in another church, but she had asthma really, really bad. And when she got an attack, she had to be taken care of immediately. She has an asthma attack in church, and one of the guys said, we got to go, Pastor. She's having a hurt her. These people said, we got to go. And I said, hold on, let's pray for her. He said, we ain't got time for that. And he ran out to the car. And I just sat there and said, did he just tell me that? And I didn't say it out loud. We ain't got time to pray. And all of a sudden, he comes running back in with his daughter, gasping for breath. He says, I'm sorry, Lord. And we prayed for her. And by the time she got back to the hospital, it was gone. The doctor didn't do anything. God took care of it. So, is anything too hard for God? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. He's boundless. I remember one time I had an ulcer. I don't know how many ulcers, but it was an ulcer. I was bleeding at both ends. I couldn't eat. It was in bad shape. And we were sitting, me and Bert Boyd. Y'all know Bert Boyd. Some of y'all know Bert Boyd. We were supposed to go sing someplace that night in a revival. And I said, I can't go. I'm too sick. And I sat there at the house, and I just laid on the couch, and I was just miserable. And the Lord spoke to me and said, are you too sick to minister for me? And I said, no. He said, what you doing here? So I got up, and I got in the car, drove there. Bert was tuning up. I said, Bert, I got my bass. Let's tune up. So we tuned up, and we played. My stomach was still hurting. I was feeling sick. I thought I was going to throw it up. We played. We got through, and we sat on the front bench, and we're watching during the revival while the guy's preaching, and nobody ever touched me, ever laid a hand on me. I'm sitting on the front row, and I felt, and you know when your leg goes to sleep and starts waking up, that feeling you get? That feeling reached the inside of my stomach. And I felt it go in, and I felt it pull out, and it pulled me up out of my seat. And I heard a voice say, you're healed. And I never had another problem again with that, ever. Our God's boundless. Boundless. The biggest thing is he saved me. That shows his boundless. Matter of fact, saving some of y'all shows he's boundless.
Yeah.
Amen?
Amen.
That's right. So, now, transcendent. He's above all. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. There's so many times that we see things, and I did a funeral for a 39-year-old man just a few weeks ago. And he wasn't a churchgoer, and they didn't have any idea what to do for music. And we were sitting down, and we were trying to figure out the music. And he had children still living at home. And we were trying to figure out the music. And they said, Pastor, can you help us? And so I was going through, and I was going to do Amazing Grace by Chris Tomlin, but I came across He's a Good, Good Father. And so I had it, and I played it, and I said, what about this? And they started crying and said, Yes. And that day, at the very end, before I called the guys up to take the coffin out, I said, you don't understand this day. It doesn't make sense. He's only 39 years old. And nothing, everything, just crying, God, I don't understand, and I'm angry. So, but you got to understand something. He's a good, good father. And he knows what's best. And he's got this under control. And you'll know later on what's happening. You got to trust our good, good father. And when I said that, they started playing it. He's a good, good father. And we walked out, the family came up to me and said, wow. Wow. We still don't understand, but wow, the peace we've got is our good, good Father. You know, he's above all. That guy later on could have, look, I would much rather die. Listen, now this sounds crazy. I'd much rather die now in a car crash than to die of some debilitating disease that keeps me messed up for years. I'd much rather go ahead and get on out of here. Or sometimes God's sparing you, and sometimes He's sparing other people the pain. And we don't understand that. But His ways are not our ways. There's times where my mom and my sister were just like this. I mean, they fought like cats and dogs. No matter what we did, it was like that all the way. And it used to drive me crazy. From the time she was little to the time she was big, it was constant. And then Mama got sick. And then she wound up losing one leg. Then she lost the other leg, and her kidneys, and her heart, and her eyes, and all this stuff. And during all of this, her and my sister grew so close. And my mama, when we called to the bed, she called to the bed to bless all of us before she lost her mind eventually, because they quit doing dialysis on her. She was going to die. And she said, I can't tell you why I'm sick. But I can tell you one thing that God did through this sickness. He restored my relationship with my daughter. And she said, I would get sick 100 times over if I knew, and sooner if I knew it would have restored my relationship with my daughter like this. And there it goes again. My ways are not your ways. His ways are higher. And so His thoughts are higher. So we're sitting there thinking God's being mean to us, and God's going, no, I got this under control. I got this thing already. I'm not trying to figure it out. I've already got it. We're trying to figure it out. He's already got it. You know, it's like trying to teach my kids math. We're trying to back in the day when I was teaching my kids how to play instruments. Now they're teaching me. But back in the day when I was trying to teach them, it would aggravate them so bad because I would know a song already, or I'd hear a song on the radio and say, let's pick this song out. You've got to learn how to play by ear. If it's not there, you're not going to be able to. But if it is there, this is going to help you learn how to play by ear. And so I told them the method, the 1-4-5 method. I said, here's what we're going to play. I want you 4-1-4-5, and I want you to name off your keys, 1-4-5, and this is going to be your primary keys. It was in G, it's G, A, B, C, D. G, C, and D. That's your primary. G is your primary. You're going to go here, and you got to go to mine, and I showed them how. I said, now I want you to listen to this song. Listen to this song. Take your finger on the string, and I want you to pull up and find what key it's in, and then start playing. And they used to get so mad at me because I'd be sitting there playing. And they'd be going, Dad. Now they're doing it. And I'm going, huh? But what I'm saying is, though, again, I already knew it. They did. They were trying to, hold on, Dad, I'm trying to figure this out. I didn't have to figure it out. I already had it. And so, again, we're trying to figure things out in our life and understand God's already got this. I mean, there was a time I got sick, and when I was in the hospital, but in the doctor's office, I'm thinking, Lord, I ain't got time for this. I don't need to be here. I need to be here. There's 100 places I need to be, and I'm here at the doctor's office just trying to satisfy my wife that I'm here. And when I get there, I wind up ministering to 2 or 3 people that probably got ministered to. If they had to have somebody, a Christian in there that knew how to minister to people, they might not have got that ministry taken care of that day. Or there's been times I've been swearing I was ministered to, and I wouldn't have got ministered to if that situation had to happen. And sometimes it's a mutual ministering to. So